Jesus were to descend from heaven today and says, I'm going to give you 2 times your income, 2x, for the rest of your goddamn life, if you spend most of your waking time doing fill in the blank, whatever. You get to pick anything. No more working a stupid job. No more worrying about money. No more having to do shit that you don't really like doing. Instead, you get to do whatever you love most doing. What do you pick? Dangle your genitals over a meat grinder. How you want to spend your remaining days, because you're going to die. Guess what? Breaking news. Everybody's going to die. You're not immune to it. The billionaires aren't going to figure out the solution to immortality. And even if they do, they're not going to share that shit with you or me or anybody else. They're going to keep it for themselves. So what do? A lot of you probably have no clue. Probably because you haven't been allowed to explore that. You haven't been allowed to play around with what you really care about doing. The things that you get lost in. The things that you would do for free. Let's say it's gardening. That's your thing. You want to do gardening stuff all the time. You'd wake up in the morning and go do gardening. You'd stay out there all day gardening. You'd go to bed. You come in, you eat what you grew, and you'd be thinking about gardening. When you're sitting on the toilet and you're trying to push out that last turd, you're thinking about gardening. When you're showering, you're thinking about gardening. You know, when you're banging in the sheets, thinking about gardening. The sad thing is that's not reality. That's not how reality works. Reality requires money. You either have money or you live under a bridge and eat out dumpsters, and eventually you die a horrible death. Those are your 2 choices. When I'm thinking about it, it makes me sad. My mind always returns to, this is pointless and stupid because it's not going to make money. And that's kind of how our system has trained us. It's like, well, there's no use learning a skill. There's no use solving a problem. There's no use doing anything if it doesn't lead to some income. I mean, we go to school our whole lives and they just burn it into our eyeballs. They just stuff it in just put it in our head, just get in there and cram it in there. So that then our brains could take it and rewire it and then dump it into somebody else's profit machine. And we never get a chance to actually stop on something that we like doing. And no, it's not watching TV. That's not a real thing. It's not eating out at restaurants or, well, I guess you could eat out at restaurants. You could become a food critic. You could really like that. That's fine. But you know, you're not sitting in front of a screen. You're not doing nothing. You're not just in passive consumption mode. You have to be actively doing something. Watching TV is not a skill. That's just something you do because you can't live with yourself long enough to actually be bored to find the thing that humans have that says, hey, you're bored, dude, do something. We're not allowed to figure that part out. It's like once we find something, even if we like it, it's like we got to move on to the next thing because there's more information we got to stuff in here. Because the jobs that are out there, the way our system works is like we need to work a job, and these are the skills you need in order to compete in that market for those jobs. And if you don't have those skills, then again, you what? That's right, you fucking starve. So we learn the skills that somebody else wants. That's building someone else's vision or dream. And I bet you that they don't even like it. The only reason that they do it and the only reason that we have the jobs we have today and the skills that we need to apply is because they were brought up in the same system. It's like you got to do something in order to make money. And even if you don't like it, even if you don't want to do it, even if it's not beneficial to yourself or your community or society or whatever, planet, whatever. So what is your thing? Have you thought about it while I'm ranting? It's like we're not searching for, we're not doing something because we think that there's a result at the end. There's some goal that we're trying to hit. It's not setting a goal and then going out and trying to accomplish that goal. It's just doing the thing without worrying about, is this going to make me a bunch of money? Is this going to result in fame? Is it going to result in fortune? Is it going to result in somebody liking me? Is it going to result in somebody picking me for an award? Is it going to result in whatever, fill in the blank there? You just do it because you like it. Whatever thing is that you pick, it's going to be like a devil on your shoulder, like a little devil that's saying, hey, this is the little devil. Hey, you know that thing that you think that you're going to do, how are you going to make money with that? You shouldn't do that because it doesn't make money. You should go out and just be happy with the job or do something that will make money. There's going to be that devil on your shoulder that's going to say that in your ear as you're doing things, as whatever you pick. It's going to be saying, you can't make money with that. You can't get famous with that. You can't get that guy or girl that you want doing that. You can't do that because it's not the proper way to do that. And it's not going to be just when you pick the thing. It's going to be every day that you're doing the thing. It's like, why in the effing hell am I doing this? Even though I love doing it, and I think about it all the time, why am I doing this if it's not going to lead me to money, if I'm not seeing results? And that's the hardest thing to do, I think, is to divorce the doing from the results. Because we're trained in this world here where results are, we need results. Because it leads to somebody else making a profit, and it leads to us getting a paycheck so that we can buy food and we don't starve. Again, we're back to the starving. They call it starving artists for a reason, because there's no room in our current world for art. There's no room for it. It's not profitable. And it just becomes a job. You're just working a job. You're just trying to fill somebody else's bucket up while trying to fill up your own. We got to start thinking about, what's that thing? And if enough of us start thinking about that and start acting on it, then we'll start figuring out ways to do more of it. Well, I'm doing a lot of it now, but my stupid job is getting in the way. How can I do more of it? How can I either eliminate the money problem or make money doing the thing that I love to do the most? So what's your thing? If you don't have an answer, there's your first step. Go figure out what your thing is. Remember a time when you were happy. What were you doing? Who were you with? What was going on? Or think of things that you get lost in. What are the things that you do that seem to make time fly past? That you forget to eat, that you forget to poop. Find something. It could change if you want. It doesn't have to be, static for the rest of your life. Now, Jesus is very forgiving. He is Jesus after all. He would come back down, probably be naked this time, because he's in the middle of orgies up there. They're doing nothing. That's what heaven is. Heaven is just nonstop orgies and cocaine. And Jesus, I guarantee, comes down here to sit next to us and tell us all these things because he's bored with it. He's bored with it. It's probably not something that he would spend his time doing if he could choose, but he can't choose because that's the way God runs heaven. And he's at the mercy of God, who's just his boss. And who in the hell would want to go to heaven and have a boss? But yeah, Jesus is forgiving. So don't worry about getting it right. You don't need to worry about picking the thing and that's it forever and ever. Unless you're old like me, and then it's pretty critical that you get this right. But you should have enough experience to actually make that choice. I remember that time that I was taking pictures of my toes every day and getting the right angle and the right lighting and the right lens and the right whatever. That's what I was doing, and I was super happy doing it. I would spend hours a day taking pictures of my toes. Maybe you should be a pedicurist. Is that what they're called? Is that what they're called? Are they called pedicurists? Or they're just nail people? Nail people. But it's got to be something. It's got to be something. The end.